If you've been around this channel for a while, you know I'm a cutter. I cut spell slots, I cut initiative, I cut death saves, I cut anything that slows the game, buries the story, or overloads my brain. I've been doing this since pre-second edition, so for decades, I never had a word for it. I just knew the game worked better when I stripped it down. I was watching this video from Runehammer about dice of all things. I hear Hankerin Ferinale say two words: cognitive load. And that was it. That was the phrase I'd been missing my whole life. It was the light bulb moment. He said it several times in the video. There's a link to it in the description. I watched this video a dozen times or more, and it was life-changing. So what is cognitive load? It's when you're running combat, juggling turn order, spell slots, monster conditions, 3 different rules interactions, and your brain just kind of starts to lock up. It's when you prep a 10-page backstory for your villain, and then at the table you can't remember which cultist is supposed to betray whom. It's when exploration stops feeling like discovery and starts feeling like math homework. That's load. It's not about being a weak dungeon master, it's about your brain being buried under too much at once. Veterans already know this. If you've been running games for 20, 30, 40, 50 years or more, you've lived through campaigns that died. Not because the story was bad, not because the players quit, burnout. So what do? What did we do? We cut. We stopped tracking every ounce of encumbrance, we ditched spell slots because we weren't interested in being a wizard's accountant. We stopped treating initiative like gospel and just went clockwise. It wasn't rebellion, it was just survival. Every cut gave our brains a little more oxygen. And when your brain can breathe, your story can breathe too. Now, if you're new to this hobby, you might not even see the problem. You grew up on massive rule books, expansion after expansion after expansion, every problem solved with yet another mechanic, another supplement. So when I say I cut spell slots, you think it's sacrilege. When I say I don't run death saves in the traditional sense, you think I'm breaking some holy law handed to us by Moses. But veterans know better. Rules are not sacred. They're just weight. And the heavier the weight, the harder the game is to carry. This is why I thank Runehammer. Because once you name something, you can finally fight it. For decades, I was hacking blind. I just knew fewer rules meant better games. But now, with the words cognitive load, I can cut with purpose. I can ask specifically, does this mechanic lighten my brain or bury my brain? Does this prep make me nimble or chain me down? Does this rule serve the story or does it just serve the rule book? That's what cognitive load is all about. It's not laziness, it's not hating the rules. It's protecting your brain so the table can live. And just a brief touch on some specifics. Spell slots, nothing breaks immersion more like watching a wizard tick little boxes off like they're filing taxes. I want dangerous magic that feels alive, not balancing a spreadsheet. Initiative. Roll, sort, write down, resort, move your clothespins, no. At my table, we just go clockwise, done. Death saves. I don't need 3 coin tosses to tell me or not whether the sword through your chest killed you. The drama's already there. Make the call and move on. And encumbrance by the ounce. If I need a calculator to track my gear, something's very wrong. I want players worried about how much they can carry narratively, not mathematically. And even monster stats. A goblin doesn't need a page of powers. Every extra mechanic is just more load I don't need. And there's 100 more examples. They make the game heavier, and the heavier it gets, the faster it sinks. And load just isn't rules, it's prep. I've seen dungeon masters drown themselves in binders of world building, maps of every province, a full genealogy of every noble house, timelines of every war. And then at the table, none of it matters because the players decided to burn down the tavern instead. All that lore becomes dead weight. It clogs your brain and stops you from improvising in the moment. And that's why I talk about toolkit, drop-in encounters, one-page dungeons, notes you can actually use in play, not encyclopedias you'll flip through once and never look at it again. And it's not just mechanics, players add cognitive load as well. The rules lawyer who challenges every ruling, the spotlight hog who drags the game off course, the chatter that pulls focus away from the fiction. Every one of those moments drains your mental bandwidth. And when your brain's already juggling monsters, maps, and mechanics, and extra social noise can just kind of tip you right over the edge. And that's why table rules matter. Just like you cut bloat from the system, you cut drama from your group. experience is the teacher. This is something only time can teach you. You have to run the session where combat drags to midnight. You have to watch the campaign fizzle, not because of the story, not because of the players, but because you couldn't carry it anymore. You have to feel your brain seize up before you realize that the load is the killer. That's why veterans see a stripped down table and smile, because we know it's not missing anything. It's free. So let me be clear. Save versus BS is not about addition wars. It's not about hating on 5e. I mean, we can do that, but it's not even about glorifying the past. It is about one thing: reducing cognitive load so you can actually run the damn game. And that's why I tell you to streamline. That's why I say build the toolkit. That's why I cut rules until my brain has room to breathe. Because when the clutter is gone, the magic just shows up. Let me give you a few examples from my table. We roll all at once. I have my players roll to hit and damage at the same time, because it kills that back and forth delay. It doubles the tension. The dice hit the table and you know immediately, did it land and how bad did it hurt? That's speed, that's flow. Clockwise initiative. No sorting, no charts, just go clockwise from me. If you're not ready when it's your turn, skip and we'll move on to your next turn. It's pressure, it's rhythm. And toolbox prep. Instead of planning 10 rooms in advance, I prep 3 solid encounters that could happen anywhere. Bandits, a haunted ruin, traveling priest with a dark secret. Wherever the players wander, I drop one in. The world feels alive and my brain isn't suffocated by maps that I'll never use. And then monster simplification. I don't need a huge spell list for my monsters. I give them each some strange defining move. A banshee screams, a troll regenerates, serpent spit venom. That's really all you need. These sound like little things, but each of them together stacks upon stacks upon stacks of cognitive load reduction. So your players don't remember that you tracked rations by the ounce. They remember the night they ate their last crust of bread by firelight. They don't remember that you calculated initiative in the exact order. They remember the roar of the dragon and the panic when it breathed fire. They don't remember that you memorized the whole NPC's family tree. They remember the riot when the Baron fell. What they carry with them is the stories, the tension, the moments that mattered. And those things only happen when you're not drowning in junk. Hankerin Ferinale at Runehammer, thank you. Thank you for naming it. Thank you to every veteran who's been cutting rules for decades without needing a label. And to the new players, stick with it. One day you'll hit that overload moment and you'll see exactly what I mean. You protect your brain, you cut the fat, you reduce your load, because the lighter you travel, the farther you will go, man. My name is Rick. This is Save versus BS. Like, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you in the dark. Bonus content. So in a genre that has a tendency to be an echo chamber, most game channels kind of turn into review channels. So to be fair, some start off as review channels, but my channel is still very new and I really have no interest in reading and reviewing a bunch of games I have no intentions in playing. And for example, I'm glad Daggerheart is finding an audience. You won't really hear me talking about it, other than in passing like this. But I love talking about what I love. And let's look at these dice. This is the set that Hankerin Ferinale at Runehammer was talking about. Now, this video right here is still playing in the background. He did perfect. He explained these things in a better way I ever could. But one thing he didn't do in the video, and I'm going to put the camera down on the table so you can see the dice. Okay, so this is your D20, 12, 10 in percentile, 8, 6, and 4. Now, they look great. I mean, that's a D4. Let me move this box back here. It hits the box. I mean, that's a big, chunky molar, as he calls them. But here's what he didn't do in the video. This is a traditional set of dice. Look at the size of those things compared to the traditional set. I mean, is that not insane? They are huge, and not just for old people going blind. I mean, that is remarkable. So I bought, from Runehammer, I initially bought one set of the polyhedrals. Oh, and it's so cool. Inside, and I don't know if this is going to get me in trouble with him or not. We have never met. We've never spoke. We've said some stuff to each other's videos, but it says inside, gods and devils make hallow these sacred stones. I mean, look at this presentation. Is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen? So I ordered, hold on, I gotta sneeze. So I ordered one set. I ordered one set of dice, and I ordered there's a set of D6s. You get these big, chunky D6s, side-by-side comparison. I mean, look at the size differences on those. And that came with, and then, so it was these. It was the D4s and the D6s. Now, the coolest part of the whole thing is character creation. He's saying ultra fast character creation. I had never heard of this before. And now we're talking probably better for Shadow Dark than traditional D&D. But you take your D4s, you give them a little shake up, you slap it on the table, you add those. Those are your modifiers. You have no core derivative stats. I rolled 2, 4, 1, 2. And so I put those as plus. I put those as plus whatever on my stats of choice, and then leave the other 2 at 0. That became gospel at my table the minute I saw it. That's how we make characters. This is it. So if I'm playing at your house, or you're hosting a game or you're running a game, I'll do it however you want. But when you come to me, that's it. I mean, God, talk about reducing cognitive load. It's not going to take you 20 damn minutes to make a character. So then these all came, they all came in the mail, and fast shipping, by the way. And I do feel compelled to add that I'm not getting paid for this. He doesn't know I'm doing this. He may or may not be happy about it. Then he had a couple of more sets on there. I just kind of ordered the couple I thought I would use more. But as I said before, I watched this video like 12 times. So they have the yes, no die. Yes, no. So for cognitive load reduction, you're at the game, something you didn't think about, any number of things for yes or no. Is there a window in that tower? It never fails. You got your thief class. He can scale walls relatively easily. He's like, hey, is there a way to get in? Well, you know what? I didn't think about that. Yes, there is. There's a window. So it reduces cognitive load. Now, the other thing, back to the table. Now, my current group has 4 players. And what he says, and bring us to this directional dice. So it's just arrows, okay? You roll it, and it points. So if a monster is going to attack someone, we say, who is the monster going to attack? So just envision I got 4 people sitting around me, and it's setting, you just go to the closest one. So Mallory usually sits right here, so that would get her. The other thing, positioning on a map, if you were using your battle map, which way, like a blank hex crawl, that's the kind of thing we do. We don't use the actual hex paper, but that's the campaign we're in. Which way is the obsidian temple? Well, it's that way. So it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Now, and then these are the skull dice. And one thing I use these for is, so I have hundreds of minis, hundreds. And it's a distinguishing factor in appearance from regular dice that might be at the table. So on my Ultimate Dungeon terrain, I would just say that's, okay, so for example, I have an upcoming battle where they're gonna have to fight a shadow from the Shadow Dark. I can give you a page number, maybe. There's no mini for the shadow, but I gotta have something to represent the shadow. So I just throw down a skull dice, and I would put it skull up to signify that it was some kind of monster. When it's dead, you just roll it over and say, okay, there's nothing, it's just nothing there, it's blank. Or you just remove it off the field entirely. There's a lot of uses for these. You could use this as a yes/no die, a bunch of different things. And then lastly, I can't remember what he called these, but it's basically a posturing die. So what's your bad guy gonna do? So, you know, the explosion is like his big attack, whatever crit he might have. And then your sword is just a standard attack. And then, well, let's just go shield. If you land on shield, he would just set a defensive posture and maybe raise his armor class. That's all from Hankerin. Now, one of the things I do with this set, because I play with 4 players, the arrow die isn't gonna, there's space at the table, okay? So this isn't always gonna point at a player. So I go clockwise from me, 1, 2, 3, 4. Who's the monster going to attack? 1. So in this case, it's gonna attack Alexandria, my fire mage in the campaign. She's gonna be the one hit. If there's 2, I got 4 players. If there's 2, I'd say, okay, number 2 and number 4 are gonna get attacked. So Alex, Caleb, Johnny, Mallory. So in this case, it's gonna be Caleb and Mallory. They're gonna get attacked. So it removes the notion that a player is gonna think that you're picking on them. We don't want there to be any favoritism at the table. And using the dice to select who is getting attacked is a great way to remove cognitive load from your brain. I don't have to plot out which makes the most sense. The dice decided for me, and I'm thinking about something else entirely. Now, I love this set. I love all these. My first set, these are not cheap. This is currently available. You know, I'm not gonna get into pricing. This was worth every penny I spent on it, and I bought 2 of them. The packaging is fantastic, and my goal here is to buy one. It comes in this case. My goal is to buy a set of these for every player that I have. Now, I have tons of these dice laying around, packets sealed, ready to go. For one-shots and people were auditioning, hey, there's your set of dice, welcome to the team. But as like a graduation present from, game night hopeful to, you're in, this is a very nice gift to give your players. And so I ordered this set, and then I ordered the D4s and the D6s, and I spent, it was under $100. And then the rest I ordered another set of the official set, and then I got the yes/no dice, the directional dice, and the skull dice. And so for all this, I'm probably, I'm in pretty deep. I would never tell my wife what I paid for a set of dice. Let's just put it that way. And these dice are not the nicest dice you've ever seen. They have fancy dice with, the little metallic trims and all this stuff. This is the kind of dice I can get behind. It's not flashy. It's big. Is it made from some rare pretend stone trying to, no. It's just a normal die. It feels good. It's good weight. Everything about this thing is amazing. And when you throw your D20, let's go back to the table. When you have when your player's rolling for damage and ow. So I'm gonna roll for damage, and they're gonna roll. This is like a same time roll thing that I do. Okay, so just look at the comparison. It just feels so good. Now, one downside, and this is not an insult, this is a great product, you should go out and buy 10 sets of them. But one thing is that they only come, as far as I know, in that color. So if everybody's using the same dice at the table, they, you know, and caveat, if you're rolling at the same time in the dice tray like we do at my table, there might get some confusion on whose roll was whose. And I'll make another video about that another day. But they're perfect. I will never buy another set of dice. I can tell you that right now. And in fact, I've got dozens and dozens of pairs of dice that I really don't need anymore because these are going to be my go-tos. So how many of you guys actually carry a D20 with you at all times? Like in your pocket? Okay. If you walk up to me, there's a pretty good chance I got one in my pocket ready to go, because you never know when you got to throw down, you know? So, Hankerin Ferinale, these are great product. We appreciate you. You have been an ambassador to this hobby for years. He's a funny guy. He's hilarious. I'm not really that funny. But anyway, these are the dice sets. Go out and get them. Links below. This is not a paid deal. I love these. And if I'm going to do a review of anything, it's going to be because I love it or I'm getting paid for it. But you know, even if I was getting paid for it, I'm going to be honest. If you have a product you want me to take a look at, send it to me and I will do this. But I don't know. Anyway, almost time to light the ovens. And they come with these little pouches too, by the way. So it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. I don't think a whole standard set actually fits in it. It's funny. Let's see. Let's see, and then a 4 and a 6. Yeah, it fits. Of course it fits. Yeah, it fits just fine. Yeah, there's still room to spare. I mean, you could get a couple of extra D6s. So there's 4 D6s in there, and you need your 4 D4s. So there's 4 D4s in there, so 5 D4s in there. Your yes, no. We're going for it. We're going all in, man. Let's see, do they all fit? They do not all fit very well, but if that stops you from getting this amazing product, that's silly. So put it on your Christmas wish list. Maybe somebody will get that for you. And thank you for watching, guys. The channel's growing, and I couldn't be more happy. So, like, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you in the dark.